Hello and welcome to today's video as we cover the LEC players of Spring Split, Split 2, depending on where you're located. This is 100% based off of stats. So what's going to happen is there's going to be players on here that you're going to be like, why are they on there? And I'm just going to answer now. It's because of their stat line. I'm not including Heretics and Vitality's tiebreaker game today. There's multiple reasons why I think this is a joke to do, but regardless, one is, strength of schedule wise. I mean, it's just one extra game between Heretics and Vitality, but still, best to not include it. The stats I utilized: KDA, which is kill, deaths, assists. We know that. The way I do it is assists count as half. Kill participation, how many kills a player's involved in. CS per minute. Damage divided by gold. Damage, share differential. So, damage share for the team minus gold share from the team. Vision efficiency, vision score divided by wards placed. Gold difference at 15 minutes. Solo kills per game and champions played per game. Because we can look at the entirety of the split and see who was the one using the most different champions. I think a diverse champion pool is a big deal. So, in top lane, the three best top laners were Adam, Mirwin, and Oscar in that order. So, we have a lot of numbers on the board. Comment down below if you like it this way versus the other way. I had somebody suggest to do it this way again. So, in terms of KDA, Mirwin actually led every top laner at 2.9. KP, Adam, led in that category, 65%. CS per minute, the highest was Carlson at 8.4 for Heretics. Damage divided by gold and damage share, Mirwin, 1.66 and 6%. Once again, for Koi, Mirwin is one of those top laners that we see in the world. There's only probably half a dozen teams that do this where their top laner takes on a large chunk of their damage share. It's definitely a rarity. We see teams like GAM Esports do it with Kiaya as another example. Vision efficiency, lot of Giant X, 3.14. Gold difference, Adam had a 315 gold lead at 15 minutes. Kana did as well for KC. Solo kills per game, and Nako of Vitality, 12 and 20. Champions played, Gen X had 13 and 19 for SK Gaming. So, think about it. We got a lot of rookie representation in leading categories. CS per minute, a rookie leads that. Vision efficiency and solo kills. Bright futures ahead in different aspects. People may say, but vision efficiency. You knowing where to place your words is definitely not something I expect many rookies to have down at the top level, but he does have that going for him. Jungle, Razork, Skuman, and Sheo. So, not a big surprise here. These guys are some of the best junglers in the region. Yike obviously also should be in this conversation, but statistically just wasn't there. KDA leader technically was Elyoya at 4.2 for Koi. Kill participation, Isma of Giant X, 80%. Very involved in what his team did. CS per minute, Skuman, 6.9. Damage divided by gold, Yike, 1.37. Share differential, vision efficiency, and gold difference at 15 minutes all went to Skuman. Skuman, negative 0.3 share differential, almost as much damage share as gold share. Last year, we saw some junglers with more damage share than gold share. It shows the meta shift that has occurred. That the damage not necessarily coming from the junglers as much as it was in 2024. Over 6 vision score per ward placed. That's very good. Skuman knows where to place vision, get objectives, and do what needs to get done. It also does help when you have caps in mid lane leading the role in gold difference. If he's getting ahead in mid lane, you're allowed to maybe, invade the enemy jungle and get, great ward placements. 418 gold lead in and of itself, though, is also a credit to him that he's getting leads. Solo kills per game, Sheo had 3 and 20. It's the jungle role. What do you really expect? Champions played, Sheo had 10 and 20, which led his role. A different one every other game. which is obviously more than 10 and 21 and 10 and 22, but we're splitting hairs. That's why Razork ended up having the best stat line, because really he was like top 4 or 5 in pretty much everything, where others kind of tanked one category here or there. And you may say, but there's not a big difference. And hey, rounding differences and things like that. Mid lane, Camille of Heretics. This is going to ruffle a lot of feathers. But I think all season long he's had moments definitely where it's like, oh, this guy's a fucking rookie. But then there's other times where it's like, oh, he's having a great week. He's dealing a lot of damage. He's being impactful for Heretics, a team that leaves a lot to be desired in most of its roles. Jojo Pune in second, and Jackie's in third. So KDA, Vladi led in that category, 3.2 for KC. CS per minute, the leader in that category was Humanoid at 9.4 for Fnatic. KP Reeker, 70% for SK Gaming. Then Camille led in the damage categories. He had 1.85 damage divided by gold, which obviously very efficient in the damage department, and a 6.9 share differential, dealing a lot of damage for his team. And in before, yeah, but his team stunk. That's why I did that. This All-Pro takes into account how important a player was for their team. And it helps carry players more than facilitators. It is what it is. Vision efficiency, Caps over 4 vision score per ward play. So he and Skuman, very good with the vision. Gold difference, Caps ahead 370. Solo kills per game, we saw Vladi with 12 and 24 leading the role. Champions played, Camille 10 and 20. An area where Vladi struggled, I think, was Champions played. I think he had like 9 and 24, which ranked one of the lowest in the role. Bot lane, Ice for BDS, surprisingly at the top. Ice, obviously BDS not moving on, but Ice still had a very good stat line, especially given how poorly BDS played altogether. Followed by Callist of KC and Upset of Fnatic. Now, if I were to have to say who my MVP was for spring, it would be Callist, because you look and you see no other KC player statistically on the board. I base everything off of stats if I can, and the way I look at it, if a team finished first, it's hard to really ignore an MVP not being on that team. But if all their players were on here, I'd be like, oh, well, fuck it. I mean, all their players are on here. It wasn't one player in particular doing the heavy lifting. Everybody did a bit of it. But when you have one player from the top team on here in the standings, it's like, oh, well, that's a glaring MVP would be Callist. Followed by Upset of Fnatic. So KDA, Upset led in that category, 9.7. Color me surprised. I mean, that's obvious. I mean, like Ice and Callist literally had less than half of the KDA that Upset did. Kill participation, Ice 76%, CS per minute, Callist 10.2, ROI and share differential went to Patrick of Rogue 1.84 and 6.7%. Vision efficiency, Hansama 3.53, following the other players on his team in mid and jungle. Gold difference, Ice ahead 291 on average, opening the biggest lead in the laning phase. Solo plus 2v2 kills for bot laners. Callist 11 and 24 led the role. Champions played, Supa played 12 and 22 for Koi. Support, Niski ends up being at the top, and there is a reason for this. Now, Niski in particular, the support role in particular, I have a video on my channel, and I want to say it's like 17 minutes long. It could be longer. It's a tough ramble. But it's pretty much me arguing against the validity of utilizing stats. And arguing against each individual stat. And how there is a debate, what that stat means, how it can be, I don't know, exaggerated is the word, but boosted versus, dropped. Like, the stat may, kill participation. Well, kill participation is a great example. If your top laner is getting a bunch of solo kills and you're just kind of doing your thing winning lane, but your KP is going to suck because you're not involved in those kills because there's a bunch of solo kills on your team, you know. But, you know, is that a negative to the support? Should I be hurting the support? Should I be hurting the mid laner in stats because the top laner is getting a bunch of solo kills? Probably not. But we look over the entirety, a large sample to try and go through this. But that's just an example of how I could argue against one of these stats. And the reason why I bring it up with Niski is because support, I mean, if you play damage in aggressive supports that aren't necessarily traditionally supportive, you're going to end up with a pretty good stat line. Niski, role swapped mid. Not a big surprise that he's going to be aggressive. He's going to maybe lead in some categories. So it's Niski, Mickey X, and Stend. Something else to note, you have 4 rookies on here. Skuman, Camille, Callista, and Stend. There are good rookies coming up. And there are others that aren't on the list that had pretty good springs. So KDA-wise, Alvaro, 2.5, led that. Kill participation, Alvaro led in that at 79%. Very involved in what his team did, 4 out of every 5 kills. Damage divided by gold, Niski dealt the most damage at 0.89 damage divided by gold. Vision efficiency, Targamas, 2.09. Gold difference, Labrav up 93. Solo plus 2v2 kills, Niski 5 and 20. You'll be like, but it's a support. I just kind of use that as, hey, the 2v2 of Karzi Niski were aggressive and did come away with kills. 5 out of 20 for Niski. We take into Karzi's account. Maybe that bot lane duo had top 3 or so in 2v2 kills, and it's something to, you know, hang your hat on. Champions played, Stend 11 and 20. Led in that category for support's most diverse champion usage. So I know there are going to be some people that are going to say, yeah, but why would you have Adam on there? Rogue didn't even make the play. They finished last. They were terrible. Statistically, he was very good. Just because your team sucks doesn't mean that an individual award should not be given to a player. Win rate is a team stat, not a player stat. Now, if I did remove him from that list, BB would be next. BB was 4th. For bot lane, same thing with Ice. If Ice was removed, Supa was 4th. I didn't include Vitality and Heretics because at the time I'm doing this, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you skipped it, I'm not including that tiebreaker game. So this was done beforehand. So that is a thing. But either way, first team for spring, Adam, Razor, Camille, Ice, Niski. Second team, Mirwin, Skuman, Jojo, Callista, Mickey. Third team, Oscar, Sheo, Jackie's, Upset, Stend. Callista is my MVP. Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, like it. Subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a YouTube supporter, and hope to see you again tomorrow.